In a world where knowledge is often confined to pages and pixels, there exists a sacred tradition in West Africa that predates written language, a tradition where history is sung, not written, where wisdom is chanted, not printed. These are the griots, the keepers of memory, the custodians of culture, the walking libraries of West African civilization. For over 1,000 years, the griots have been the soul of their people. They are not just storytellers, they are historians, poets, musicians, advisors, and diplomats. Through centuries of war, empire, colonization, and independence, griots have preserved the truth of Africa's past and continue to shape its present. The origin of the griots is deeply tied to one of Africa's greatest empires, the Mali Empire, which rose to prominence in the 13th century. At the heart of its story is the legendary Sundiata Keita, the Lion King, who united the Mandinka people and laid the foundations for a vast and powerful realm that spanned much of West Africa. According to oral tradition, it was Sundiata who first recognized the need for a keeper of the word, someone who would memorize the past and speak the truth in times of need. To fulfill this role, he appointed balafon, the very first griot, to be his personal advisor, praise singer, and custodian of cultural memory. This was no minor role. In a society where literacy was rare and oral tradition was everything, balafon became the voice of the empire, the echo of its ancestors, and the guardian of its soul. From that moment onward, the griot tradition was born, woven into the political and spiritual fabric of the Mali Empire and eventually spreading across kingdoms and cultures throughout the region. A griot is many things: historian, musician, poet, praise singer, genealogist, political advisor, and spiritual guide. Griots are known by different names across West Africa: Jelly or Jolly among the Mande, Guel in Wolof, Igbala in Yoruba tradition, and Ado among the Hausa. Regardless of the name, their role is the same: to speak truth, preserve memory, and serve society with the power of the spoken and sung word. They memorized the family histories of nobles and commoners alike, tracing lineages back hundreds of years. They sang the praises of kings and heroes but also had the power to shame tyrants and correct leaders. Their words could heal rifts between families, negotiate peace between enemies, and preserve unity in times of chaos. To be a griot was not just a job, it was a sacred calling. Griots were born into griot families. Their knowledge, tools, and training were passed down through generations in tightly knit lineages. Families like the Griots, Diabatés, Sissokos, and Suso are among the most famous griot dynasties in West Africa. Griots used more than their voices. They were skilled musicians, and their instruments were extensions of their souls. The Kora, a 21-stringed harp lute made from a large calabash, played mostly by Mandinka griots. It produces a rich, melodic sound that can mimic both voice and rhythm. The balafon, a type of wooden xylophone with gourd resonators, often used for storytelling and praise singing. The ngoni, a plucked string instrument considered an ancestor of the banjo. Talking drums, used especially in northern regions, these drums mimic human speech tones and carry messages over distances. These instruments were not only for music, they were vehicles for history, storytelling, and philosophy. The melodies of the Kora often served as mnemonic devices to aid in the retelling of complex histories and genealogies. Griots were more than performers. They were integral to every stage of life and every major societal event. 1. At births, griots named children and invoked the spirits of ancestors, linking the newborn to a lineage that stretched back centuries. 2. At weddings, they sang praises of the bride and groom's families, blessing their union with stories of ancestral strength and virtue. 3. At funerals, griots mourned the dead, reciting the deeds of the departed and ensuring that their memory would live on. 4. In politics, kings and nobles rarely made decisions without consulting their griots. They were advisors and confidants, with access to the histories and precedents that informed wise governance. Their knowledge made them powerful. Though they held no military might, griots wielded a sharper sword, the word. A praise poem could make a man immortal. A critical verse could bring shame and social exile. In many West African societies, griots were both revered and feared. They lived on the edges of the community, respected but separate, sacred but not always trusted, because they knew the secrets of kings. One of the greatest achievements of griot tradition is the Epic of Sundiata, an oral narrative that recounts the rise of Sundiata Keita and the founding of the Mali Empire. Passed down over centuries, the epic contains history, legend, moral lessons, and spiritual wisdom. It is traditionally performed over multiple nights by griots who accompany their storytelling with the Kora and balafon. Through this epic, griots not only tell the story of a king but also convey the identity of an entire people. The Epic of Sundiata is still performed today in Mali, Guinea, and other parts of West Africa, making it one of the longest and most enduring oral traditions in human history. The arrival of European colonizers in the 19th century posed one of the greatest threats to the griot tradition. European administrators dismissed griots as mere entertainers or primitive folklore bearers. Written documentation replaced oral testimony in courts, governance, and education. As colonial powers imposed their languages, systems, and histories, griots found themselves marginalized. Many of their patrons, royal courts and noble families, lost power or were destroyed altogether. Yet, griots adapted. Some took to performing in colonial cities. Others began to document their traditions in writing or collaborated with foreign researchers to preserve their knowledge. In the face of oppression, they remained the voice of resistance, encoding political critique into songs and poems that colonial powers could not fully understand. Today, the griot tradition is alive and evolving. While some griots still practice in the traditional manner, performing at ceremonies and passing knowledge orally, others have taken the stage on the world music scene. Artists like Toumani Diabaté, Salif Keita, Ablay Sissoko, Youssou N'Dour, and Baba Maal have brought griot music and themes to global audiences, blending traditional instruments with contemporary styles while staying true to their roots. Modern griots also use radio, film, podcasts, and YouTube to reach new generations. They rap, sing, and speak about modern issues, corruption, climate change, migration, and identity, while echoing the timeless themes of honor, legacy, and resistance. In urban centers, some griots have become journalists, authors, and professors. Others work as peace builders in conflict zones, using their words to reconcile divided communities. In a world obsessed with data and documentation, the griot reminds us of something older and deeper, that history lives in memory, and culture survives through connection. They are a testament to Africa's resilience and genius, a culture so rich it does not need paper to remember. As long as griots walk the land of West Africa, plucking their chorus, beating their drums, and shaping their verses, the soul of Africa will remain intact. They are the living past, the conscious present, and the hopeful voice of the future. The griot's voice is not an echo, it is a call. A call to remember. A call to honor. A call to never forget who we are.